Welcome back, True Seeker. July 29th, 2024, International Tiger Day. In the headlines, in the UK, Southport, at a dance camp, a Taylor Swift-themed dance camp, a mass stabbing ritual happened today. And I want to talk about some familiar patterns. This happened in the town of Southport, which has a gematria value of 44. If you're new here, gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, this 44 number is very fateful. The most famous stabbing incident in history is probably the one that is on the calendar, the Ides of March. Remember the stabbing of Caesar in 44 BC. And remember, last year we were out on the streets of San Francisco after Bob Lee was stabbed to death, educating about how he created CashApp and Square, very connected to digital currency, and how last year on the Ides of March, the day to remember the stabbing of Caesar in 44 BC, the Federal Reserve put out the memo that the first week of April, they'd begin certifying the FedNow system. And then that first week of April, on April 4th, 4-4, Bob Lee in his 44th year of life was stabbed to death. Again, words like execution and kill have gematria of 44. Very fateful number. There's a reason MLK was killed on 4-4 and Malcolm X was killed on 44 date numerology. As we'll get to, today's date numerology is 44. There's a reason the first president to die in office, William Henry Harrison, died on April 4th. There's a reason JFK, who was number 35, was the 44th term president, the last to be assassinated. There's a reason the first black president was number 44, 44 years after the Civil Rights Act, in light of the civil rights leaders both dying in connection to 44. Again, MLK and Malcolm X. But yes, Southport, the location. Now, a lot of the media referred to this as a stabbing spree, and that's very interesting because we just talked about the Ides of March. Today is the 137th day since the Ides of March, March 15th. For the record, that's the 74th day of the year in gematria. Stabbing equals 74, like killing, like occult, like Masonic, like English, like gematria, like energy, like holiday, like Independence Day, like this nation's birthday is 7-4. Anyway, there's a reason 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on 7-4. Again, both killing and stabbing have that 74, the 74th day of the year to remember the killing of Caesar in 44 BC. Not to be outdone, though, today is also 137 days before Taylor Swift's December 13th birthday this year, and it's important that it's synced up with her 35th birthday. We're going to get to why in just a moment it matters that this is 137 days from her 35th birthday. But again, just notice how the gematria stabbing spree puts it all together. Now, from Taylor Swift's last birthday to today is 229 days later, which is the 50th prime number. Remember, this number is huge with satanic rituals. Satanic, San Francisco, Merseyside, where the stabbing also was at today, area referred to as Merseyside in Southport, but has this gematria of 50 and the larger way 122. And remember, the Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco on the 122nd meridian. We talk about these numbers a lot. Abortion has this 122 and 50 value. Roe versus Wade decided January 22nd, 122 days after Roe's birthday, which is September 22nd. And then it was overturned in its 50th year of existence, just shy of its 50th anniversary. Again, these things are not an accident. It's not to say that somebody who got an abortion is satanic. It's to say that the people who've made this society where abortion's a necessity for so many, they're satanic and they're programming people and making them follow the wrong people and develop the wrong behaviors. And I've been pointing this out about just all this worship of Taylor Swift. I mean, it offends a lot of her fan base. It's under some kind of spell. Again, she's just not that special of an artist. And that's why there's all these continued rituals connected to her as we're constantly documenting. They scripted the whole rigged NFL season around her. Again, Taylor Allison Swift, 104, who wins the 104th NFL season. Her boyfriend's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, something we saw before the year began. But anyway, this perfect alignment with her birthday from her upcoming to her last. And her last birthday was her 34th. The word murder has gematria 34. You know, mass stabbing. Initial headline said 1 dead. The latest headlines say 8 injured. Today's date numerology is 8, with everyone saying 8 injured. If you're new here, gematria, it's very simple. It's the alphabetic order. ABC is 1, 2, 3. The alphabetic order in reverse, just making Z1 counting back to A is 26, and both orders with numerology. Notice the overlap with stabbing spree and Church of Satan. This is going to factor in with it being synced up with her 35th birthday. Notice the perfect overlap. Again, there are members of the recording industry who are members of the Church of Satan, and it's public knowledge, like Marilyn Manson, who happens to be 55 years old right now, and Satan has that gematria of 55. But the thing about this being synced with her 35th birthday and, the 137 going with the Church of Satan, notice how both Satan and Baphomet have the gematria of 35. They both also have the gematria of 80. The Baphomet is the Church of Satan symbol. Today's date numerology is 80. Again, I know there's all kinds of moms right now hurrying a group of girls around to catch up with the latest Taylor Swift concert. Again, it's crazy how attached the fan base is and how much money they spend following Taylor Swift around. Again, you look at the way the world kind of is, though, it's like, man, how much money is being spent by these wealthy people just to follow Taylor Swift, this mediocre musician, around when there's probably way better talent in their own backyard if they just go out to the local coffee shop that's got the local person playing. But again, that's where you start to look at the world and you just think about how people are being influenced to spend their money. It's like, what if everybody just put their money and wealth together to overthrow this cabal that makes us worship mediocrity and lies to us every day? Got all these people under this spell so that they worship Taylor Swift. Anyway, where the stabbing was, it was in a building, this dance camp called the Heart Space. Just think about that, the Heart Space, right? This is a story that's going to tug at people's heartstrings. Oh my God, little girls going to learn to dance the moves of Taylor Swift, their favorite musician. How horrible, how bad is society? And this story is going to impact so many people because so many people are under the spell of Taylor Swift. You can't watch an NFL game these days without them talking about Taylor Swift. But yes, in gematria, the heart space equals 52, like stabbing, like the word heart itself. The word heart itself also has gematria 29. Here we are on the 29th of the month, International Tiger Day. Some media instead call this a stabbing spree, just to show you how somebody might go, well, what about the media calling stabbing frenzy? Yeah, I do see that wording in the headlines too. I've heard them say that watching the news here in the background this morning. Stabbing frenzy just happens to equal Taylor Swift. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. So, all you guys who could try to come here like you got one question that you need to be answered for all of this to be valid, what I'm showing you every single day, the same thing over and over for, again, we're almost to August. In 2 weeks, it's going to be 11 years of showing the same thing. And I know from the very beginning I was talking about 44 and killing. I know we just pretty much laid out what was going to happen to Donald Trump the day before it happened. We talked about why that next day, July 14th, not July 14th, July 13th, the day he posed under the 13 stripes. 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Federal Reserve on the day Lincoln was shot. And again, in a town of 13,000, and then 13 days later, he says he's coming back. Anyway, that day can be written 13/7, like 137, the day of the Trump thing, where they paid tribute to Revelation 13:3, the beast getting the head wound, when it was 133 days from the JFK assassin anniversary where he got shot in the head, and president equals 133, like White House, like government. But Trump's on the same satanic cabal. Again, mega is the highest degree of the Church of Satan. Mega is the highest degree of the Church of Satan. And again, on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, April 30th, 2011, Obama joked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Trump in attendance that he'd be number 45 days from Trump's birthday. Lo and behold, he runs on mega and becomes number 45, and they've been doing these satanic sick jokes ever since. That shooting in Pennsylvania was 214 days after the state's birthday when Ronald Reagan equals 214. A lot of 214s we've been talking about with Trump and the Church of Satan and what they've been doing to us. But again, these are big characters on the world stage. Taylor Swift, Donald Trump, they're people that just hog up a lot of the headline space. They hog up a lot of the mind space of Americans who are just under the spell of the screens and the TV and the mainstream media. And they're in the club. And remember, the Church of Satan is in the club. Don't forget Anton LaVey. Some people think Taylor Swift might be a relative of Anton LaVey. I don't know that's true. That's been speculation for a while. Stuff like this makes me start to think like, see, that's where people say, what's the advantage of gematria? It's like, well, what about all these people speculating on her being related to Anton LaVey? Oh, I mean, is this more evidence, would you say, of the Church of Satan? And again, who's behind the Church of Satan? Anton LaVey died 201 days from his birthday. 201 days from the sitting Pope's birthday. 201 is the number of who? The Jesuits and the Illuminati. The Illuminati founded by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt, Order of Illuminati equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like Jorge Mario Bergoglio. That's the first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, when the Jesuits are from France, and the last French pope was the 201st, and on and on and on. Back to the beginning, Ignatius of Loyola, 201, their founder. Them saved by Catherine the Great at the time of their suppression, with 201 Jesuit priests. On and on and on and on and on. But yeah, Jesuits, they gave us the calendar, the language. They're infiltrators. They're schism causers. Why not establish a Church of Satan to really provoke, the Christian element, to cause a further schism in society? You already got divisions between the Abrahamic religions. Why not introduce a Church of Satan with influence that makes headlines, that quietly mocks you? Christians worshiping Donald Trump, a man who worships himself. The first tenet of Satanism, to worship yourself. People don't see the uppercuts they're taking to the chin every day. But I hope this video makes it more clear. We'll leave it there for now. And until next time, Truth Seeker.